thank you so much for being so actively involved in women's spiritual development. The questions you're sending are very wise and show that you have already begun to put spiritual guidance into practice. Women have started to wonder, how should spiritual development actually be present in every single day of life? How? It shouldn't be something separate, like I come to women's meetings. There I spiritually develop myself. Then I go home, and at home everything is ordinary again. Everyday life, difficult, full of conflict, and so on. This is now a problem for many spiritual people when life splits into two parts. Here I'm spiritual at women's meetings or seminars, and here in real life I'm just an ordinary social person. Then a conflict arises between these two different selves. We experience even greater inner disharmony because we are neither fully there nor fully here. But true spiritual development, and especially the feminine spiritual way, consists precisely in letting spiritual knowledge come into our everyday lives and applying it in our ordinary, everyday life situations. What situations worry a modern woman the most right now? Conflicts. We constantly find ourselves in some kind of conflict situations, and the most painful conflicts are with a beloved person, the one we chose as a life partner, or conflicts with a mother, a father, or a child. But let's talk about all of these conflicts, and especially the conflict with the person with whom I would like to spend my whole life. When did I choose this partner? 0203. That's another question. Whether I chose correctly or made a mistake. Perhaps there were some mistakes, but right now our relationship has already reached a stage where conflicts have appeared. To understand the nature of conflicts and why even the very best relationships eventually come to a stage of destruction, please watch the unique series Seasons of the Year from the spiritual film Mystery, Untold Story of Love. Everything will become absolutely clear to you. It's a cosmic law of nature. All situations go through 4 stages: spring, summer, autumn, and winter. If conflicts have begun in your spiritual or family relationships, it means you have already passed the spring of love stage and the summer, when the relationship was at its peak. In the autumn stage, misunderstanding appears, destructive energy accumulates, and you have reached the winter stage, which already shows that that's it. We no longer understand each other. We're in conflict. So, what to do at this point? Please watch this episode. It's important spiritual and educational material so we can move forward together. And now, let's watch a video that you probably didn't expect. The thing is, ancient traditions preserve unique knowledge about the world. Knowledge that is catastrophically, totally different from what the mass media shows us. The point of view you're about to see in this video, you may have heard something like it somewhere, is being erased, destroyed, and completely ignored by modern worldviews and modern culture. This point of view says that the physical world and the subtle plane, the world of energy, spirits, cosmic vibrations are a single whole. Just as in medicine, we know that you cannot treat the kidneys separately. If you treat only the kidneys, you will destroy the entire organism. Healing is possible only when we perceive the organism as a unified whole. Then, when treating the kidneys, we pay attention to the fact that there is also the liver that will be affected by the medicine, the bladder, and other organs, and so on. The same here. If, in the modern model of perception, we completely cut off the subtle plane, meditation, yoga, energy, the concept of spirits, angels, parallel worlds, the afterlife where the soul goes after death and from where it later returns to be born on earth again. If we erase all of these from our perception, conflicts will be endless. Wars will be endless. So the ancient harmonious knowledge about everything in the world, the ancient traditions teach the subtle plane exists, and it is of different kinds. There are angels and negative spirits, demons, devils, or other entities of a darker, subtle world. Both of these worlds influence the physical world. And the physical world is nothing more than an arena where different forces of the subtle world meet and interact. A human being is a being inside whom the influences of these different worlds clash and struggle. You know that you have beautiful angelic qualities. Sometimes it's as if a real devil manifests within us. We're ready to smash and destroy everything, and it's very hard to restore a positive state afterward, right? So now watch this video.
Yelling at each other, boiling over, ready to tear each other to shreds. By evening, calm and peace suddenly settle in. The next day, it's the same story.
A person just doesn't realize what's driving them. He thinks he decided on his own. To get angry at someone, start cursing, and lash out. But it's all evil spirits that take control of him.
Then they showed them to a shaman. The shaman whispered something into the drum and kept sprinkling water the whole time. He had them hold stones in their hands and wear amulets on their bodies. They came home. His mother became calm and kind, started taking care of the business, and he stopped drinking. Money started coming into the house. And overall, life got back on track.
Exactly. Because they were taken over by kind spirits. Aro. And that's why their life improved.
Though later on, they carried those amulets with them all the time.
You're absolutely right. After all, they help establish contact with a kind spirit.
So, what did you just see? It looks like a man and a woman are arguing. But surely you noticed that behind each of them stood some kind of monster. This is the manifestation of the subtle world. A human being, as a divine creation, is not inherently inclined to want to destroy another person. But as long as the soul is not strong and developed enough, a person is an easy target for the subtle plane to influence. And those negative entities you saw can easily manipulate a person. And the person doesn't even realize it's not really them acting. Have you ever noticed this in yourself? You get into a conflict. You insist that you are right. You almost want to kill your opponent just to prove that you're right. Then, after some time, when you calm down, breathe out, and let go of that energy, you suddenly think, why? What was that for? The reason was so insignificant. All that struggle and conflict, for what? Exactly. For nothing. And some spiritual people already realize it was as if it wasn't me, as if some force was acting through me. That's right. At that moment, a destructive force of the subtle plane was simply flowing through you. Negative beings, spirits, as they say in shamanism, demons, as they say in Christianity. In other words, the dark side of the subtle plane. All conflicts, all difficult situations are provoked by the subtle plane. We must understand this. And once I realize this, the next step is I can choose which forces from the subtle plane will express themselves through me, the light ones or the dark ones, good or evil. Right now, on cinema and computer screens, we see many films like Harry Potter about the clash of good and evil. It exists, and it's not only in movies or on a universal scale. It happens every day inside us. Watch this unique spiritual project, Life After Life. Episode 19 shows exactly this, how light and dark forces fight over a person's actions, trying to make the person do something. But the choice is always made by the person himself. If inside yourself you suddenly realize, my God, what am I doing? Stop, I don't want to destroy. Then those dark, destructive forces weaken, and the person may suddenly say, stop the conflict, wait, I love you. Or, why are we fighting? I'll go look for an answer. After all, there are wise sages who know how to stop this negative influence from the subtle plane and help me return to the creative power of the spiritual world. From time immemorial, such people have been shamans, priests, sages, wizards, people raised in ancient spiritual traditions. I am one such keeper of ancient traditions. And right now, such people have gathered into a very powerful women's spiritual school, and we invite you to come and study with us. So, if you see that conflicts are filling your life, one, first, acknowledge and understand that in a moment of conflict, I am a conductor of these dark, destructive forces of the subtle plane. Two, second, I make the decision that I want to come under the influence of light forces, leave the influence of dark forces, and become a conductor of light forces. The next step is to turn to a spiritual person. If you want to change something, please write me a message via the bot or by email. Describe your situation in detail, attach photos if needed, and say, yes, I want to understand who is provoking these conflicts and I want to stop them.
Then they showed them to a shaman. The shaman whispered something into the drum and kept sprinkling water the whole time. He had them hold stones in their hands and wear amulets on their bodies. They came home. His mother became calm and kind, started taking care of the business, and he stopped drinking. Money started coming into the house. And overall, life got back on track.
Exactly. Because they were taken over by kind spirits. Aro. And that's why their life improved.
Though later on, they carried those amulets with them all the time.
You're absolutely right. After all, they help establish contact with a kind spirit.
Look what happened. A knowledgeable person, in this video, a shaman, a representative of the most ancient spiritual culture on earth. A shaman is someone who is in constant contact with spirits. He knows this world. It is his sphere of life. He controls it with his drum, his amulets, and the spirits. And what did this person do? He brought light spiritual beings, the Oru spirits, into the life of this couple. See how beautiful they are. Such beautiful little birds. They really do look like that. Truly light beings. And this couple never parted with their little amulets, the little houses where the light or spirit lives. You saw them sitting beautifully in front of the fireplace, with spirits flying around them. The function of these light Oru spirits is to repel the dark Koru spirits, the spirits of conflict that devour a person's energy. Do you think this is a miracle? No. This is one of the most ancient traditions of working with the subtle plane. And this tradition has been systematically destroyed in our modern world. For example, in my lineage, there were 12 generations of shamans. In the Soviet Union, where my ancestors lived and where I was born as well, 3 generations of my family were executed simply because they dealt with questions of the subtle world and taught people how we live in connection with it and how it affects us. Well, our civilization has destroyed this knowledge in all of its true manifestations. But now, the age of Aquarius has come. The era of the flowering of spiritual knowledge, when people are finally beginning to hear this knowledge. If you're interested in continuing to study this understanding of the connection between the subtle and physical worlds, then by all means start watching very carefully with a pencil and notebook the powerful spiritual project Life After Life. It fully describes the life of the soul on the physical plane and the subtle plane, the influence of angels and demons on the life of an ordinary person. And that is real spirituality. It's not a theory. It's not just sitting quietly in meditation when no one bothers you. That is only an attempt to enter spirituality. True spirituality is the moment when, in a specific, difficult, conflict situation, relying on spiritual knowledge, I stop the process of destruction and turn it into creation. Imagine, a conflict begins, but you wake up, realize, wow, some demonic force is trying to control me again. You take your amulet, you simply call the Oru spirits. Please help stop this conflict. And the spirits help. A completely different force awakens inside you. And we say to the person with whom we were just fighting to the death, let's stop. Why do we need this? Come on, it's such nonsense. Of course we can solve this situation. Let's just solve it calmly. And you stop obeying the destructive force that was acting on you moments ago. That is what spirituality is. To stop the influence of demons, to stop the influence of devils, negative spirits, to stop being a puppet of evil and to choose good, to become a creative force on earth, just like Harry Potter and the other heroes in amazing stories about good and evil. All of this exists, all of this happens inside me in every situation. So let's choose good. Let's choose good again and again, every time. And we will help you with that. In the description of this video, you will find all the links. Please rewatch the unique spiritual project, Life After Life. Feel free to write your spiritual questions via our bot or by email. As leading specialists in spiritual matters, we will answer you with love. We are waiting for your questions.